Welcome to the late night, midnight after dark,
Early morning.
early morning riser. The cows haven't even come home yet. Thank you so much for being here. We're excited to be here with you tonight, if you couldn't tell. And listen, well, it's after midnight where I am. So I was going to say it's Tuesday, but it's not Tuesday anymore. Tuesday is my favorite day of the week. But now we're into Wednesday and it's all good because we're here. We're going to have a great conversation tonight. I'm looking forward to it. So, again, welcome. Listen, go to bit.ly/free women 2020. We're going to be talking about that grant program. I don't know if you've seen the interviews. The ladies have been doing a phenomenal job, and I'm
Mhm.
so excited about the ladies that are excited. I'm like, Groot, and I feel like, it's calling in for the voice or voting for, I don't know, one of them shows where you call in and vote in. Yeah, yeah. But I'm rooting for everyone who applies for this grant. And listen, you can't get it if you don't apply. So go to bit.ly/free women 2020 and you can get the information. We're going to have another information session this Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know. Just go to the link and you'll get the information so that you can uh, see what you need to do to be involved. Of course, you have to put in the application and you have to be interviewed live during one of the programs. So it's not difficult. What are you waiting on?
Right.
Don't you want something different? Anyway, before we get this conversation started tonight, we're going to talk about how reflections can move you forward in your life. I'm Tisha M. Johnson, and I'm not Danielle Winningham. I didn't change my name, but I am not that lovely lady. Listen, we appreciate her giving us this opportunity to come and talk with you guys late night. But I'm Tisha M. Johnson. I'm the creator of Your Love of a Lifetime. I'm helping you manifest true and lasting love. And we got some good stuff coming on because we got the bomb.com coach. Okay. I know that's a little,
That's right. That's
I'm dating myself, but that's all right. Bomb.com. I said it. She is the GOAT, the greatest of all times, because she cares about her people and she cares about the bottom line. And she wants to create women, the most women millionaires on the planet. I'm going to be in that number. I know
right.
Stephanie's going to be in that number. So you need to get started on this journey. bit.ly/free women 2020. That's a step.
That's right.
Might be your step one. Step
Right. And that was Sanford said, I'm coming to join you.
coming to join.
You're not gonna leave me behind. Hey y'all, I'm Stephanie Lane and I'm with Career Women's Collaborative, and I am hired by career women to help them get the promotion that they deserve and the pay that they demand, as well as either start a new career or move up in their career. Because we need it, right? Sometimes we need that help. Sometimes we need that extra boost, that encouragement, that motivation, a different perspective on things to get you where you need to be. But we definitely get you there. So that's what I do, y'all. Okay. The topic tonight, y'all, we've been talking about due season for the last week and a half. And we've had great conversations. Y'all, if y'all missed last night's, y'all need to go watch the replay. We were on a roll with the R words, y'all. I think we're going to have our publisher go back through and publish that one because that was pretty hot. So if you
Oh,
have not
yeah.
taken look at that, go look at it. But tonight we're talking about reflection, another R word, go figure. But reflection. And let's just start off by saying, we are so busy. We're always doing something and being about, whether it's your business or somebody else's business, that we don't take time to just sit your tail down. Older women, the mature, not say older, no, Jesus, the seasoned, the well-matured women would generally say, sat down, go sit down somewhere, okay? Or set yourself down. We don't do that enough. We don't go sit still too. You're not just sit down, but go sit down somewhere and be still and be quiet long enough. We don't do that because our society is such that everything is like move, 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 go, go, go. I want it now. Even our attitude towards things. We want it now. What, right? There's even a commercial. I can't remember what they advertise for, but it's that we want it now. When do you want it? We want it now. I can just remember hearing that. And that's how we operate. But when you are trying to come up, when you are trying to be successful, when there are things that you really, really desire and want for your life and building your legacy, you're going to have to go sit down, and you're going to have to be still, and you're going to have to be quiet. Now, why, Stephanie? Why do I have to go do those three things? Well, you have to do it in order to begin your reflection process. And when you think about reflection, you think about your experiences. How did you get to the point that you are now? What has happened in your life? What situations have occurred? You got to really dig deep and say, okay, what are some of these things that I'm going to get rid of? What are some of the things that I am going to keep because I believe it helps me? It's part of my character. It's part of who I am. I'll give you an example. I can remember growing up, people would say, y'all go figure, that I was bossy. When I was a little girl, I was bossy, and I always had to be in charge. I don't care what we were playing. I was the school teacher. I was the preacher. I was the doctor. I was the person in charge. It didn't matter. I was the mama when we played house. And so I got the title bossy all the time. And when I became like a teenager, it started to bother me. It really did. It really bothered me that, I had created that name for myself, and I didn't know what to do with it. And so I quieted down. I started like kind of being to myself because I didn't want people to think a certain way of me. And that didn't play out till a lot later in my life. And in actuality, that bossiness, I held on to it. It comes up in a lot of ways that I needed to. But if I would not have reflected at a certain point in my life to figure out what are some of those things that I needed to get me to where I needed to go, I would have kept on, I would have held on to, I don't want people to label me as bossy. With my reflection, what ended up happening, I called myself, I'm just very determined and strong-willed. I just changed the narrative. I changed the language around what it was that people had characterized me as growing up, because it served me. It served me in various roles that I've been in. I've been been able to accomplish a lot of things with being self-determined, being confident, and knowing what the heck I'm talking about, because I will research you up and down. That I will do. So you better bring it. If you're coming in my way, you better bring it. And I'm a show me girl. You got to show me. Prove it to me, whatever it is. But yes, it did end up serving me well. And yes, I've served in a lot of leadership roles. It was inevitable. If you talk to my mom, she's going to say straight off, yep, we saw that coming. Just like a lot of people, when you see star quality in your kids or in cousins or family members, you just see it. They have that it factor. They have that thing. They have that whatever. You just see it. And so you kind of know what kind of person they're going to be. But you've got to really sit down and you've got to really start reflecting about those things. Another thing that happens when you sit down and you sit still and you are quiet for a long period of time. Guys, I'm talking about not 5 minutes, y'all. I'm talking about a good 30 minutes, a good 45, maybe an hour. Work yourself up. But if you do it, you're going to gain a different perspective. You're going to gain a whole different perspective on things because we're quick to react. That's another thing. You'll be quick to react to a situation. You'll be quick to react to circumstances, quick to make a decision when sometimes you need to like pipe it down and think things through. But then with that comes with that perspective, it allows you to think about whoever it's affecting, come up with a different scenario. Just like I shared with you about, I just changed the narrative. I changed the language around my character and who I was so that didn't feel negative to me. It didn't feel like I was like condescending to others, and that I wasn't being bossy. And so it gives you an opportunity to look at things differently. If you've ever been in a situation where you've been super mad and you can't see the forest because the trees are in your way, and if you just sit down and you go be by yourself and you start really, really thinking about that situation, I can guarantee by the time you are finished thinking it through, you're going to look at it differently. You're going to look at, well, what could I have done differently? How could I have handled that differently? What could I have said that would have made this better? And that's called introspection, guys. That's looking inward, looking at you, and stop pointing the finger outwards. And when you start looking at you and yourself, oh, I'm going to another piece, you're going to start holding yourself accountable for the things that you're doing. And when you're starting to reflect and starting to think about where you need to go, you're going to start holding yourself accountable differently. You're going to not only hold yourself accountable, you're going to start finding people to hold you accountable, which is key on this journey. Tisha, I know I've been talking a lot. I always get on a roll when we get started.
That's okay, because I'm doing the background stuff. I'm sharing the groups. I'm making sure everything is everything. I'm over here on Periscope talking to the people.
Yay.
So yes, we have to take an inventory. Anytime you're going to move forward, no matter what the situation is, something personal, whether it's business, you've gotta reflect. Even, let me put it to you in baker's terms. Dee Morris can, I'm sure she can relate to this. She does cakes and things, and I do homemade rolls. That's all I do. I do homemade rolls. Okay. Just like Granny used to make them. Nonetheless, but when you're preparing for, say, a holiday, my biggest holidays are Thanksgiving and Easter. Unfortunately, this Easter I didn't do anything because of the COVID. But Thanksgiving normally is a huge holiday, and so I've got to do some reflection. What did last Thanksgiving look like? I've got to see what kind of supplies and materials I'm going to need so that I can have a successful sale or whatever the case may be. I need to look at and see, what is it that my customers wanted? Did they really want multiple big pans, or did I have more customers that were like, it's just me and somebody else, so we only need a half pan? You've got to take that time and reflect on the past so that you can have a better future. And so, especially we're talking about the Free Women Project, you probably already had plenty of time to reflect on what is not working in your life right now. And so this comes at a great time because you have probably already said, well, okay, either my job laid me off, maybe I'm working from home, and that's a new type of situation. Maybe I got fired, or maybe my company closed down, whatever the situation may be. Maybe I applied for unemployment benefits or whatever kind of benefits were available, and it did something, it held me over, it's not enough. Some people are barely living paycheck to paycheck. And so if you had a $400 emergency, it was said that most people couldn't handle it. I don't know. I think they're going to be crazy kind of statistics that come out of this whole pandemic. But the thing that I also know as well is there are going to be a lot of people that found something new, people that decided, well, I was doing this over here, but I'm really passionate about this over here. And so let me pursue my passion, or let me do something so that I have other opportunities. You know, people are still spending money. I hope you guys realize that they're still spending money, but they're specific about what they're spending it about. So why not put yourself in position to offer what's needed? It said that in times of crisis like this, more millionaires are birthed. And I really do
Mm-hmm.
believe
Mm-hmm.
that there are going to be a lot of millionaires birthed from this tragic point in our life.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, life is still moving. Yes, the world shut down, but there were some things that haven't shut down, or maybe they went to a tortoise kind of pace, but everything didn't stop.
Right.
So you have an opportunity to do something different with your life. bit.ly/free women 2020. You still got time. Classes are starting really, really soon. You got one more information session to get in on, and listen, do it. Stop procrastinating. Stop dragging your feet. Stop saying it's not for you. Stop saying, oh, it's for somebody else. Because if you're here, it's either for you or you know somebody.
Right.
But maybe it's for you. Maybe because you, Stephanie, I don't know about you. I don't do this anymore, but I can remember back in the day being at church and the preacher just the preaching. Yeah, I wish such and such was here. No, that message was for you, ma'am.
Right.
It wasn't for such and such, because if it was, they'd have been there. Or, ladies, y'all know I got to go relationship. You hear them talking about relationship, but you're like, man, I wish my husband, my boyfriend, my boo, my babe was here. No, that message was for you,
Yep.
so that you could do something differently, so that you could respond differently.
Mm-hmm.
So same here. Consider, just consider. Maybe you've been prompted to do something different. Maybe you've been prompted to try something different. Maybe you think you've been praying for something, but you didn't imagine it would look like this.
Mm-hmm.
It might be for you. bit.ly/free women 2020. Go to that link, sign up, get on the schedule, fill out the application. It's not difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be work, but it's not hard.
Right.
I mean, it's as hard as you want to make it. I know that we are working hard because we're on a mission. We got some goals. We need to leave a legacy for our children and our children's children. So we working hard. Believe me, I wouldn't be here with you. I don't think Stephanie would either, late in the midnight hour, if we weren't on a mission. And that's just how passionate we are, because we know the quality of education that you're going to get when you enroll into this program, whether you're a new business owner or whether you have a business and just need to do something different.
Right. You're absolutely right. My internet's sticking. Am I good?
Yeah,
Can
you
you hear
good.
me? Okay,
Uh-huh.
good. So guys, we're dropping nuggets to you. Hopefully you're catching on to them. And we're going to talk a little bit more a little later about the program, the certification. But what needs to stick out in your mind right now, what needs to stick with you in your soul, in your spirit, in your gut, and what you need to be listening to is that there is somebody out there that's giving away money, giving away education, giving you a way out. Not giving a handout, but giving you a hand up. And you need to recognize that. You need to use the gift of discernment and recognize some things. And you're not going to see too many people doing this. You're not going to hear of too many people giving out, a grant for you to get certified. Now you got to put some skin in the game, because what we believe and what we really do know is that when you are invested a little bit or just enough, you're going to take it seriously. You're going to own that piece of it. So we can't give things 100% free. However, there are some 100% tuition free certifications out there that we are giving out, and that's to first responders. So If you are a first responder, you might want to take advantage of that because there are very few slots available for that. And so if you are a first responder, yours will be tuition free. So you might want to take advantage of it and go to the application at bit.ly/freewomen2020 just to get the information, and it'll tell you how to apply. So we were talking about you sitting down earlier, right? And when you're reflecting, it allows you not only to not react or not respond or not react, but to think thoroughly and respond appropriately. So it slows all that down. It slows that, you've been in situations where, oh, I'm going to get her. I'm going, oh. And you couldn't find the person that you knew you had something to tell. And then by the time you did find the person, you had calmed down. You had figured out it really wasn't that deep. You had found out that somebody done mixed words. It was a whole big miscommunication, and you'd have looked silly or odd if you'd have really gone off at the time, if you'd have found them. And then you approach the situation totally different, right? That's like right now. This is your quiet time. This is your time to start thinking about what is going to be my next move? How am I going to get there? Who's going to help me? What team do I need? What do I need? What do I need to be doing to get me where I need to go? And so now's your quiet time. Now is that time. Now is that time to start. If you don't even know how to do it, why don't you just start by asking yourself certain questions like, what is it that I want out of life? Now that this has happened, now that we're being forced to sit still, what do I want out of life? Who do I need in my life that will support me in whatever decision I make? What are some of the tools and strategies, or do I have the tools or strategies to get me to that desired space? If I don't, do I have the resource? Am I resourceful enough to find the tools and strategies or people that are going to help me achieve my goals? Those are some of the conversations, questions that you should be asking yourself. And we did talk about talking to ourselves in one of our lives too. And that's okay. And be okay and know you're not cray-cray. You can talk to yourself. It's part of being human. And it's okay to even answer, respond, because some questions deserve a response from you, because only you know the answers. Now, whether you say it out loud or not, that's up to you. But if you ask yourself certain questions, you are the only one that can really answer those questions. It also builds, when you're reflecting or creating reflective practices, especially when you're setting yourself up for success, is that it builds your confidence. Did you know that? It builds your confidence because you really start thinking about, what are my strengths? What am I really good at? What is it that I enjoy? What do I like to do? Who do I want to be? If I can reinvent myself, if I can create another me, y'all, I would be a bad mama jamma. A double me? Oh my gosh. It'd be off the chain. And so this is the time that you can do this, okay? This is your due season. That means you need to be taking action. And part of you taking action is then coming up with your reflective practices. And what does that look like? How are you going to do it? Is it a daily thing? Is it a weekly thing? Is it a monthly thing? Am I going to do it by myself, or do I have a group that I'm going to do it with? I mean, there's all kinds of things you could be thinking about and doing right now. And part of that is, what is it you're going to do to create your legacy right now? Part of that reflection, what is it that you're going to do? So many people have been furloughed. So many people have, they won't be called back at all. So many people are trying to figure out, what can I do to just make ends meet right now? And there are so many examples in front of you. And I just happened to listen to one today. I don't know how or why I ran across Lisa Nichols. And I ran across her story. She was telling her story where she only had $11 to her name, a brand new baby. I think the baby was like 2 months old, and did not know what she was going to do. And like Tish said just a minute ago, usually in struggling situations is when ideas come up, great ideas that make people very, very successful. So this is the time. I can't say it enough. This is your time. So while you're in this moment, while you're reflecting, while you're sitting still, while you're quiet and answering those questions that you only have those answers to, you need to be asking yourself, is this for me? Can I do this certification program? I can maybe start turning it in more into affirmations. I can do this certification. I will complete the certification. I have the investment to make of myself, because guess what? I am worth it. I deserve it. I'm going to own that space. I have experiences that I know that I can share with others that's going to help them out. They don't have to keep bumping their heads like I did. And guess what? Everybody comes to me anyway for that kind of advice. So why not get paid for it? At the end of the day, why not get paid for the advice that everybody seeks from you? So go to bit.ly/freewomen2020 so that you can get more information. And so we're going to be having a webinar on Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we're going to discuss the ins and outs of what this certification program is. Now, I'm going to tell you, bar none. Now, you said bomb.com. I'm saying bar none. It is the best. We are dating ourselves right now. It is the best program that you're going to find. Why am I saying that? Because I have been part of the program. Guys, I have been part of various programs under Danielle Winningham's leadership. And for the fraction of the cost that you will pay, you're going to get so much information. You're going to get so much help. Not only will you get your certification, but you're going to get uprighted in your business. You're going to get the business advice you need to get going, to get started, and the support you need to make sure that you are successful. You're not going to find that in other certification programs. Well, the other thing is you're going to get live people. You're going to get to look at us, ask us questions, and talk back and forth and have dialogue. And you're going to have real life people holding you accountable. It's not a sit and get. We're not going to toss you a video and say, here, go watch this video and take this quiz at the end and you're done. That's not how this is. Because there's something about interacting with people. It's something about interacting with what you're learning, that knowledge base, right? It's something about being able to ask questions and getting real lifetime in live answers to those questions, instead of waiting and instead of holding out and like, oh, I gotta go research this because I don't even know who to ask. Or putting it in some generic chat that you may get an answer, and guess what? You may not get an answer. So, I'm just telling it like it is. How do I know? Because guess what? Hard knock life. I've been through other programs that are exactly what I'm describing. And then, yes, I've been a part of programs where you get it in live person and there's nothing like it. You can't beat it. You can't top it. It's just, it is the best kind of learning that you can have, besides being a face-to-face in a classroom with a person. It is, that's the best you're going to get right now. And so take advantage of it, because it's not always going to be around. You're not going to find a whole lot of certification programs that you're going to get a live person. So take advantage of it. And we don't know if this particular program may continue to be live, right? This may be a one-time done deal, and you won't get us live again. You will not. But what I do know, time is winding down. The slots are not going to always be available to you. And we're not going to be on here every night offering this, because classes will be beginning fairly soon. Come June, classes will begin. So you better get in when you can. Tish?
bit.ly/freewomen2020. Go to that link. So I just want to go back to what Stephanie talked about, support. Support is so key. So you may be in a situation where you're looking at the people around you. Now, Have they supported your dreams, your goals, your
Mhm.
ambition, your vision? Do you have those kind of people around you? And if not, then it's no wonder why you could possibly be stuck. You've got to be around people who are going to, help push you forward, help encourage you forward. There's some people near and dear in my life, and so I realize that everybody can't go, but it's just some people that I'm just like, okay, look, you go where I go, you go.
Right.
But those are few and far between. But aside from that, who's supporting you? Who's rooting you on? Who's encouraging you? It okay. Yeah, I know I always got a story. Um, so can you imagine? I remember I was involved in this beautiful company, this pink bubble that I talk about sometime. And I was going I was so focused. I was going after a goal. I actually didn't even realize that I was on track for it because I was just working. Put my head down, focus, was working. Before I knew it, I was on target for one of their vehicles. And it's a sad thing when you have people around you that won't support you or encourage you. And especially if they're like the closest people to you, that's a bad situation to be in. Well, I was in that situation. And this person who will remain nameless and titleless, but closest person to me, they didn't believe me. They didn't believe that I would do it. Their words to me were, "Oh, I'll believe it when I see it." Now, see, I'm not a person that you can do reverse psychology on me. That doesn't work. So if that's your strategy with dealing with me, it's not gonna work because I'm just gonna sit there looking at you like you crazy. Um, but I don't know. Did it work? Because I was determined that I was going to achieve this goal without their help,
Mhm.
and I did it. But but I know that it's important for me because first of all, I feel like I don't ask a lot. So, I didn't even say, well, I need you to go find 10 customers for me. And it was none of that. It was just, baby, I know you got it. Baby, I know you can do it. So that should be a clue who that was, right? Um, but I didn't get that. So your support system is key. It is either going to keep you stuck in a rut or it's going to make you dig deep and go where you need to go. Now, what
Mhm.
I do recommend is that you get around like minded individuals. If you are like the smartest person in the room, you need to go to a different room. If you
Mhm.
and it said that you are the sum total of the 5 people you hang around the most. So are you happy with who that turns out to be? And if
Right.
you got to surround yourself by some different people. And it's not that you kick those people away, throw them away. That's not what we're saying. But when you know that you have a goal, you have a mission. I couldn't, in some of the other circles that I frequent, I couldn't get what I get from this community. Um, these ladies are my sisters. I mean, it kind of took me a minute because I'm not real quick to jump in or trust and all of that. So it took me a minute because I got to see what you're about. And it can, even still, I don't. I'm cordial with everybody. I love everybody, but I'm only gonna stick close to a few people. That's not being, stuck up or none of that. I love everybody, and I'm gonna love everybody equally. But there are just some people that you click with more. You know what I'm saying, Steph? I'm
Mhm.
not.
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying that right.
Uh-huh.
Um, but these ladies, I love them. They have look. We laugh together. We done cried together. I remember, oh my God, can I talk about wine kind? I remember this, and this is to attest to the community and the support and the love. It took everything in me to get to wine kind. I listen, short of a flight to Atlanta, that's about all I knew.
Mhm.
Cause I had some stuff going on at home, and I was like, I got to get to WineCon. I got to be around my sisters, whom I had not seen in person. I was like, I got to lay eyes, lay hands on my coach, who I've been following for at that point like 3.5 years. It was so important, and it was the best um thing that happened to me and for me. It solidified some things. It encouraged me to know that yes, I can actually do this because my sisters are doing it.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's just you got to have a good community. So I said all that to say community is key. And as you reflect on who's in your space, who's in your environment, you need to think about, Stephanie already said it. Are they toxic? Is it good for you or
Mhm.
not? And if it's not, you got to make some adjustments. Wouldn't it
Mhm.
be sad if we got on a plane and the pilot saw that there was a big storm coming and he didn't do nothing? He just kept straight going through the storm. No, you got to make some corrections in the midst of whatever it is that you're facing. bit.ly/free women 2020. Go ahead and apply.
Right. And so this is the difficult part. When we talk about reflection, it's such a mental exercise that it becomes quite difficult for many people, for a lot of people, for the reasons I had given earlier. For those of us who are joining us late, we talked about how we live in such a fast-paced society that it is quite difficult for us to reflect. We don't take that time sometimes. Um, that you need, and the time that you may give to it is probably not enough time for you to completely and thoroughly reflect, and you don't do it as often as you possibly or probably should be doing it. But I mean, there are so many areas and things that you could be thinking of and thinking about, um, as far as like life planning, about your spirituality. Who are you, and what represents you, and what gets you going and motivates you? What about your health? This is essential. We forget about our health all the time. If you're a worker bee, like me, if you, because I love to work, and so I'm always busy. And I had someone tell me that I thrive in the impossible. Isn't that powerful? I thrive in the impossible. And at first I was like, nuh-uh, because I wasn't reflecting, I was reacting. And I was like, did she say a curse word at me? Because it sounded like
Mhm.
it. And what she was trying to tell me is that I like to pile a lot up on me, and then I come out fighting. And I thrive at that, in that environment, because I tend to, in my mind, start compartmentalizing everything. And I can see it. It's like a puzzle. I start putting things together, and I can see how I'm going to get it done. Even though at first I feel overwhelmed and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to get it done? And then by the end of the week, everything is done. And I'm like, whew, that was a tough week. Okay, what's next? And then I'll start piling it on again, right? But I thought she was cursing me out. I was like, how dare you? What do you mean? But that was powerful. I hadn't taken the time to reflect and to think about that area of my life, and how I do things and how I operate, and then how do I work it out. Well, health is that area. We tend to totally forget that. If you're working and if you're busy and you're doing things, and even if you're not, there are so many of us here. I've seen so many memes. Have you seen them, Tisha, where they talking about all these little labels on the refrigerator to keep you out the refrigerator, and uh, putting out pictures of what you're going to look like on the beach after the quarantine? There's so many things that are out there because we don't,
Hilarious.
right, we don't think about health first, right? We don't put that at the forefront. I'd rather sit, I'd rather watch TV, I'd rather work. before I think about, okay, let's go exercise. Although I kind of like exercising. I like to exert my energy, but a lot of people don't. And you can be the best exerciser and then still not eat right. And so those are things that, you know, we've got to internalize, we've got to think about, because at the end of the day, if you are trying to build your legacy, if you're trying to achieve success, you gotta be in some semblance of good health to even enjoy it. If not, I don't want to work and do all of this and then stroke out. I don't want to do all of this and not be able to enjoy it. And then when you start thinking about your family, what does your family look like? For those of us who are just starting off, what does that look like to you? And how are you going to create a lifestyle where your family's taken care of? They don't have to want for anything. They don't have to think about anything. When a pandemic like this happens, that it doesn't even bother your family. You don't even feel it like other people feel it. The only thing you're gonna feel is like life seems to have slowed down a little bit. I can't move or go out and do the things we used to do, but that's it. But everything else is intact. What kind of development? This is what we're talking about with the certification program. What kind of professional or personal development am I going to need, or do I want to move throughout life? And then what does my social life look like? Because that's important, right? Relationships are all the rave, whatever kind of relationship it is. I'm dating myself again. Is all the rave though. It's important to have people who care about you and who you care about in your life. And then it goes to work. What does work look like? Because that word can mean so many different things to so many people. Work in the traditional sense, work for yourself, work, not work. I mean, what does that look like for you? But all of these pieces come together for you when you're reflecting and thinking about, again, that next move. Who is it that you want to be? What is it that you're going to do? How am I going to get there? There are some things you're going to need to get there. And I'm going to tell you, if you're trying to start a business and you have no credibility, it's going to be quite difficult for you. Being certified and having a certification behind what it is that you're doing, and actually going to get the knowledge and learning, means a lot when other people see that. It means a lot. It's the difference between let's see, cars. I'm not big into cars, but and I'm going to date myself again. It's the difference between a Chevy and a Mercedes. It's two totally different things. You cannot even compare them. They're not the same, right? Because some people are going to look at someone who's not certified and is in your industry and doing something, and they're going to be like, well, I may check that person out, I may not, I don't know. And then you'll see someone on this side, because for some odd reason, just again, in human nature, we think that these things are super important, which they are, because it means someone has taken the time to go get that education, to go get that knowledge, to get that guidance. And so I'm going to tend to lean more towards someone who has done that, who's done the extra work, put in that extra time to get to the level that they are, to guide me, to help me through. And that's like, you know, I don't know about you. If I go into surgery, I definitely don't want the surgical tech touching on me. I definitely want the doctor that has gone through medical school and is the expert in the area of whatever I'm having surgery over. That's the difference. And this is what we're offering to you. Go to bit.ly/freewomen2020. Guys, get your life right, because it's just that time. It's that time. Y'all, Tisha and I were already on a journey. We were already on a journey, okay? And since that time, since we have had to sit still, it has, like, we have been on a pace like that has exponentially increased, like
Definitely.
crazily. Like
Definitely.
we are like woo 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 woo, and it's like, oh my gosh. And I'm so glad, again, going back to community, that I'm able to talk to my peers, my colleagues, my friends, my sisters about what's happening. If I'm panicking, I'm checking in. Hey, I'm feeling it over here. How you feel? How are you doing this? What are you doing to get it done? Those kinds of things. It's also important to have that in your life. Trying to do your own thing, trying to do your own business is difficult by yourself and being a loner, because there's only so few things that can happen. You're going to be a lonelypreneur, or you're going to be a brokepreneur. And you don't need to, you don't have to be. You do not have to be. It is a choice, and you don't have to be. So come on in, bit.ly/freewomen2020. I want to see you on Friday night. I like talking to people, as you can see. And I don't want to talk to myself, because I do that enough too. So come on, guys, come one, come all. Again, we have limited seating. We can't offer it all. Once the money runs out, once the grants are given out, it is gone. There is a process, and not everyone is going to be chosen for the process. I mean, going through the process, the application process. Not everyone's going to be chosen for it. I'm just saying, I'm just being honest, because it depends on where you are in your mindset. You know, we're not going to be pulling and dragging you along the way. It's just not. You got to be ready. You got to be prepared. You got to be willing to give. You got to be willing to serve. I mean, there's just so many different things. And you got to know that you really, really want this. This is what your heart desires. I want to move to the next level in my life. And that's all, folks.
Yep. You got to be hungry. Got to be ready. And from the interviews that I've seen, oh my goodness, there's some ladies that want it. I
It's
mean,
been exceptional. Yeah.
they want it bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's incredible. That's good. That's really good. And so bit.ly/freewomen2020, go ahead, get the process started. You want to go ahead and get in. Don't let the money run out.
Yeah.
Before you put in your application, get your interview in. Listen, you can say, okay, I did everything I needed to do. And if the money should run out, but have no fear. Even if the money runs out, you're still going to be put on the wait list, because you never know. Somebody could drop off, crazy life situations or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can still, I'd rather have my name on the list than not.
Right.
So bit.ly/freewomen2020. We have anything else to tell the people tonight, Stephanie?
No, just do it, like Nike. Just do it. Do it, do it, do it. Yeah, no, I mean, what do you have to lose? What's the downside of it? I mean, I always think of, okay, you can either be successful or you can fail fast. Either way, it's a win-win situation, right? Because if you're thinking in your mind, because see, that was perspective. In your mind, you're like, you thought I was going to say either you could be successful or you can just fail. No, you can fail, but then you learn. You learn from that, and you better learn quick. Get up, dust yourself off, and try it again. Get back at it. That's what life is about, right? So you're going to fail fast, and you're going to get back at it. As long as you want it, as long as you're hungry, but you got to be hungry. We say it all the time in our groups. It's time to eat. It's just time to eat. How hungry are you?
I got music going on in my head.
All right, did you hear yourself? Yeah, try it again. Yeah. bit.ly/freewomen2020. I want to see you Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Dun, 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 dun,
Go.
dun,
Hey,
dun,
hey.
dun, 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 dun. Friday night. Come on in.
All right.
Got to get the hype diva on that. So that's all we got for you guys. Hope that you will get started. And if not, somebody who needs this opportunity, go ahead and share this broadcast if you have not already done so. And listen, me and Stephanie will see you late night tomorrow night.
Early morning.
Right. In the meantime, in between time, have a great and awesome day, and we'll talk to you and see you soon. Bye.